What's up, everybody? Yo, I was thinking about something. You know, say like if a New York dude, say like if a Brooklyn dude, you know how there's like a little animosity. Brooklyn better than Harlem, Harlem better than the Bronx. You got little rivalries like that. But say if those New York dudes moved to a different state, they would have something in common. They probably would form a coalition with each other. You know, all them New York dudes, a dude from Brooklyn, a dude from Queens, a dude from Harlem, got animosity each year against each other in New York City. But if they moved to Georgia, they would form a coalition and find a way to be cool with each other. Get it? Now, say if that Georgia dude and them New York dudes got animosity against each other, but if they went to another state, they would stick. I mean, if they moved to another country, they would stick together. It's just like if a black dude and a white dude got some animosity, some racial shit against each other, but if they go to another country to fight in a war or something, they're going to stick together. They got each other back. They're all Americans. But if they're in America, they at odds with each other. You black, I'm white. But if we go to another country and fight, we brothers. We got each other back. You get what I'm saying? That's just like if it's just bugged out like that. Like I said, and another thing is, like, the main reason black people use the N-word against each other is because deep in our psyche, we think we're better than each other. And that may be true. You may be better than me. I may be better than you. But society still sees us as black N-words. Yep. Think about that. And people say the word black has a negative connotation to it. It does, because that's the way society set it up to be. You know, we was black first, then all that negative stigma came along with it. It wasn't black was always negative, and then we're gonna just call you black to make everything negative about you. It wasn't like that. You know, it's just, that's why, you know, everything negative came along with being called black. Like I told you, how the word black came about, how black people became black is, when the country was being formed, when Europeans first came to America, they were called pilgrims. Then they went from being called pilgrims to being called Puritans. They called themselves Puritans, and they called black people heathens. Then they went from being called Puritans to calling themselves Christians. But then when black people tried to get baptized and thought being Christian would make them free, they didn't want to use the term Christian no more, so they started calling themselves English. But then when the country started getting an influx of more Europeans from other parts of Europe, they couldn't use that term English anymore. You know, because you had German Americans, Italian American, Swedish American, and black people fought for the right to leave black neighborhoods and call ourselves African American. So the Europeans said, we just gonna call ourselves white. We white and you black. And that's how the term white and black came about. And that's why they came up with the one-drop rule and everything like that. And as slavery enriched the country, everything white became something good. You know, and that's where the word race comes from, because Europeans were racing. The 9 European nations were racing for wealth and resources. They were racing. It was a literal race. Just like an arms race. And once Europeans won the race, the ISM was put on, the suffix, racism. And that means that the prevailing conditions remain, racism. But back to what I was talking about before, how we would stick together, like you know, like there's a little animosity, it seems like, in America. But if you go to another country, you stick together. That's how it was when we got to Germany. But from what I understand, in World War II, they let German soldiers, white German soldiers, eat in the kitchen, and black people had to eat in the back some damn way. Black soldiers. White prisoners of war was eating dinner with their enemy. Yep. Gotta pay attention to the road, y'all. I gotta take this down in a minute. But yeah, just something to think about. That's why I say no matter how perfect candid someone tries to be, American society is just going to see her as just another black N-word. Yep. Think about it. like if a black person does something bad, the whole race get blamed for that bad shit he did. The whole race. If a black person does something good, oh, he's just a good black person. He's not like all of them. That's what they be saying. If you do something negative, the whole race get blamed. If you do something good, they'll say he's different than the rest of them. That's another thing. That's just like the NBA players and the football players and the guys that make money. Some, and even like when Africans come to America, they're taught to never intermingle with black people. That's what I believe. When Caribbeans come here, they're taught to not to intermingle with black. That's why they got the little animosity against each other. Jamaicans think they're better than the Haitians. The Haitians think they're better than the Panamanians. The Panamanians think they all come together at the Brooklyn Day Parade, though, I'll tell you that damn much. But they're taught that black Americans are lazy. Black Americans are lazy. Don't go to America and be like them black Americans. Everybody's taught that about black people in America when they get here. Especially. And like I said, another thing is nobody breaks their neck to leave their neighborhood but black people. We do everything Claude Anderson called the inappropriate behavior. We do everything. We shoot ourselves in the foot all the time. Nobody breaks their neck to leave their community. You don't see Asians break their neck to leave Chinatown and go live in the Catskills or some shit. They stay right there in Chinatown. Like I said, everything they need in Chinatown is right there. They got a hospital, they got banks, they got everything they need in Chinatown. They ain't breaking their neck to leave. Black people are the only ones that break their neck to leave black neighborhoods. That's like I was saying, when you watch, I know I'm going all over the place with this, but like when you watch the NBA draft or the NFL draft or the Major League Baseball draft, them white guys that come from money, they don't be jumping up and down and going crazy like black people do. Black people jump up and down and go crazy. When they get drafted, when a black person get drafted, he jumping down and go crazy like he done hit the lottery because his life has changed. But when a white person get drafted, you know, they cheer and stuff like that. But a lot of times, he get to stay right on the same land that he grew up in. He might just build a house on that land. Black person got to move out the neighborhood. You know, because he going to get mugged, he going to get robbed, he going to get begged to death, he going to get conned. Everything negative going to happen to him if he try to stay in that neighborhood. And that's bad. White person, like I said, his father got land. His father got land. All he got to do is build a house on that land. Yep. All right, y'all. I gotta go. Talk.